All right, Jasmin, looking at your response here. I haven't looked at these, so this is my first go at it, and I don't have a marking criteria, so I'll just have a go at what I'd be looking for as a HSC marker. Okay, outline the contributions. So we need to sketch in general terms of Said Couture. Sorry, I'm going to ruin your beautiful writing. Okay, so all I'm looking for here is three very basic things because this is being aimed at a Band 3 student. All right, so his writings is one. You could probably say you've given an example of it there. Okay, you've written a 5-mark response here, maybe even a 6-mark response when really all you need is 3 simple marks. So contributions, you would just be talking about maybe his thinking, his writings, and something else he did. Sorry, I didn't do him. Involvement in the Muslim Brotherhood. Okay, so you've got an easy 3 there, but you've spent way too much time on it. So what you need to do is be a lot more concise in this one here. All right, demonstrate how one significant practice okay, yep. So demonstrate, so you need to show by example. Make sure you annotate around your question because the markers actually see it. And if they can find a mark just in your writing around here, that'll help. So I'm going to be looking for examples drawn from Hajj. So 2 examples drawn from Hajj, drawn to 2 principal beliefs of Islam because it's worth 4 marks. So I'm looking for that only 2 of the 6 articles of faith and 2 aspects of the many of Hajj. All right, so no marks for the first sentence. All right, good. That I could potentially give you a mark there. So, we go this devotion to God. If you said submission to the will of Allah, you could probably link that as a principal belief of Islam, but I haven't explicitly seen any principal beliefs of Islam yet. All right, so here's an aspect of Hajj, Tawaf, good. Yep, good. Tawhid, oneness of Allah. All right, so now it's taking you down all the way down to here to get the principal beliefs of Islam. All right, so here's your qualifying part that the marker's looking for. So give it to them early so that they know that it's there. Arafat. So here I'm looking for something about Judgment Day as the core belief. All right, so I've only seen one principal belief in there. So what you would need to say, Arafat, great example, and you've shown the features of it really well. So you've shown by example, but you haven't made the link to Judgment Day, and that's what the stand on Arafat is. That's all about people mimicking or mirroring what they're going to be doing on the Day of Judgment. So a harsh marker would say, no, I've only seen one principal belief, therefore they can't get 4 marks in it, so you'd probably only get 3 there. You might have a generous person who give you 4, but to be on the safe side, make sure you see what that qualifying part of the question is asking you. Okay. Churches working together, so I'm looking at ecumenism here and growing understanding of each other. Working together. Okay, so that's coming straight from one ecumenical movement, NCCA. So I always tell the kids, if they give you one, you've got to give them one back. So you need an example of your own. But let's see what it says. Remember, the markers all see this page. So the more that you've got written on it, the more chance you've got of getting marks. So even just doing things like that, cause and effect for explain. So you need to show it was this, now it's this. Impact is before and after. So I'm looking for before and after. Ecumenical movements, excellent. So you've actually said that's movement, so you need more than one. Since 1945 is your qualifying piece of information there. All right. So what I'm looking for is reference to their quote, cause and effect language, before and after, so saying what was happening before 1945, what's happening after 1945. I'm looking for a complementary movement to their one there, so something like New South Wales Ecumenical Council. What's another example? I can't think off the top of my head, but another ecumenical movement I'll be able to tell if you put one in there. Since 1945, you can absolutely use National Council of Churches in Australia. So I hope that you've used that as your second ecumenical movement. All right. Accentuates the similarities. Good. Excellent. Fantastic. That's a great opening sentence. You could even say something with the similarities, even if it's similarities such as the model of Jesus Christ between Christian denominations, just to say that Jesus is at the centre, not anything else, no matter what their differences are. Good, so here's your first example. All right, good, you haven't used the entire quote, which is good. Okay, brings together. Excellent, that's what they do. Yes, there's your second one. Remove ignorance and educate those who work together and grow an understanding of each other. Fantastic. There's your love of Christ, which I was suggesting up there, but you've got it in there, so it's fine. They don't need to. Churches don't need to unite necessarily, but come to common understandings for the good of the community. You've done a fantastic job in explaining what the ecumenical movements are. What you haven't done is said their impact. All right, that's one of the key words in there, impact. So I could only give you a 4 for this one because you haven't said it was this, it's now this. So you would have to say something since 1945. There's nowhere in your response have you said anything about pre-World War II. So where we were predominantly, because the Aboriginal was hardly even recognised, that it was just there was sectarianism was rife between the Protestants and Catholics, and there's nothing in your response here that says that. There's nothing wrong with you, what you've written. Everything is accurate that you've written, but you just haven't answered the question. So rewrite this again and make sure that you read what the question is really asking. What's the impact before and after 1945? Before 1945 it was like this. After 1945 it's like this because of these things, and this is what these two groups have done to try and reach that. Okay. So now we've got an essay on Islam. Okay, you've got smallish writing, so you probably do have about 800, 900 words there. You're looking, 1, 2, 3, yeah, that's probably nearly enough. I'll have to read it, but your size writing, you'd want to be getting 4 pages out. All right, so what's it asking for us here? So Allah gave them the reward of this world. Excellent. So I'd love to sit down with you and show you how I approach all of the essays before I even start, but what I love seeing is what you've done in here already. Because no matter what essay I get, what I always link it back to is the 6 core beliefs of the tradition, whether it's Islam or Christianity, and ethical teachings. once you can link whatever it is back to those two, which is your Year 11 work, it doesn't matter whether they say something about the expression of Islam for adherence, for the individual, for the community, you will always be able to link it back to these things here, okay? So I'm hoping that that's what you're going to be doing in your response. It doesn't matter what it says, all right? So Allah loves those who do good. All right, so straight away, I'm thinking of predestination. I'm thinking Day of Judgment. And because we're looking at Allah Tawhid, that's what I'm looking at the moment for these core beliefs here. All right, let's see what it's asking us to do. With reference to the question, how do at least two components? How do, so you need to make a judgment there. Easiest way to make a judgment is to take the issue, person, thing out of the equation and then hypothesize what would have happened. So in this example, you need to take away two components. You've chosen Sayyid Qutb or Hajj out of the equation. So what you can change this to is how do Sayyid Qutb and Hajj enable Muslims, so that's plural, so that's individual and community, experience an integrated belief system. All right, fantastic. So you need to make, in this one, links between the core beliefs. Even though you haven't done ethical teachings, you did them in Year 11. Your 5 pillars. One of those being Hajj. So you're making links directly with Hajj, the 5 pillars, and core beliefs, so Sayyid Qutb. You're making, when we're talking about integrated belief system, you're talking how does Qutb and the pillar and the Hajj always go back to the core beliefs, the ethical teachings, or the pillars. So now that you know that there's 6 core beliefs, the 5 ethical, it's really 4 processes of ethical teachings, the 5 pillars of the faith, and everything you know about Qutb and the Hajj, you could literally write a few hundred pages on this. So you've got to choose whatever you know best. So I'm going to be looking for this judgment and how well you make links across these. So it's talking about integrated belief system. That's what I'm going to be looking for. What I tell all the kids that I'm going to be looking for in every introduction, so that I know that it's not predetermined, your essay is not predetermined, is you need to use their quote in each intro and use your own. At least one of your quotes in the introduction, so it shows that you can, you're amenable enough to, malleable enough to use their quote in yours regardless of what the question is. Integrated belief system, which was good. Okay, so you're talking about the Quran. I've just got to check, was that quote from the Quran? Yep. All right, good. So you've engaged with the question already. That is a fantastic introduction. The only thing that could make it better is by doing these things here. But as I'm reading this, I'm thinking this person's a band 5 or a band 6 straight away. You could use talking about integrated, you could talk about using the Quran as the sacred text, one of the core beliefs of the tradition, working that in somehow, showing it's integrated. Because just by reading this bit, what it's showing me is if you're going to write Qutb, it wouldn't have mattered what the question was, this is exactly what you were going to write. So there'd be nothing different so far in this, as if the question was describe Sayyid Qutb's life. So you haven't really engaged with the question for this, but you did in the introduction really, really well. There's nothing wrong with this, but at the moment you haven't really engaged with the question yet, and really it's that integrated part. That's great. Good. Good. You've got one of his writings in there. Fantastic. All right, so you've rewritten that, so I'm just going to have to do this, have this one. All right, so I'm looking for how it's enabled Muslims to experience an integrated belief system. So this is what he's done. So the next thing I'm going to be looking for is how it helped individuals and the community. So this is what I'm hoping Saeed wanted. Saeed wanted to work towards. This is what I'm looking for because I haven't really seen that in this paragraph yet. All right, good. You've incorporated that, but it's taken you a long time. So what you've done there is what at the marking centre we would say is a tack on, and because you've done it in the last sentence of a very solid paragraph, I know that you had just memorized everything else that was in this paragraph, and oh yeah, that's right, I've got to incorporate the question into it, and you've just thrown this on the end. So you've done it, but it doesn't show it's a sophisticated response. So this, I'd say, because you remembered all that really, really well, you're in a band 5 range, but this isn't telling me that you're band 6, but I know that you are. So we've got to get a bit more sophisticated in our writing here. And see, there's no link in between the two. If they've asked you to talk about two aspects, make the links between Katub and Hajj. Did Katub do the Hajj? I don't know. You got to check whether he did, but there's a great link if he's trying to experience the integrated belief system, because all Muslims who are able and financially capable of doing it should be doing it. Use that as your springboard into your next sentence here. Yeah, embark on the spiritual journey. How about change that to experience the integrated belief system, because the Hajj hits all 5 pillars of the tradition just in the one pilgrimage. So again, it looks like you've remembered all of this stuff, which is magnificent that you've got such a good memory, but you haven't really engaged with the question. Oh, this, yeah, hit this. You need to talk about this as the integrated belief system, because this permeates all aspects of a Muslim's life. Right, you need more of this type of stuff. Yes, good. That this is what you need earlier on. That's should be the sense of what your essay should be about, because you've shown me you can engage with a quote. You just got to do it earlier on to show the marker that you know what you're talking about. So instead of going into what you're comfortable with, engage with a quote. Be confident in yourself, because you can obviously doing it. You can obviously do it. Yes. Okay, so you've crossed back over to Kutub. I'm glad. That's good. I used examples of his. I still haven't engaged with the quote though, with the question. Like, there's nothing wrong with that paragraph. Everything you've said in that paragraph is good, but what you haven't done is engage with that. Do this. Integrate a belief system. You've just said what it is. We really need you to do that integration of stuff. Core beliefs, ethical teachings, 5 pillars. Good, this is integrated. Say that I haven't seen the word integrated yet. Maybe I did. This needs to be earlier. This is good. Oh, this, you need this sort of stuff earlier. All right, so you've obviously got the capacity to engage with the quote, but you're not confident in doing it yet. You need to do more things like this to be confident in answering these questions no matter what they throw up to you, because you can obviously remember stuff because you've recited all of that information, but you have also engaged with the quote reasonably. You need to be confident to do it all the time. So if I was marking this, I'd probably give you a 16, maybe a 17, but you've got the capacity to get a 20 here easily. We just got to do more practices of it. So if you wanted to do this again, rearrange this and maybe start again with this one and really have a look at what the question's asking you to show it in there, and I'll show you some more videos about how to do that too. All right, good job, bud.